Summerfest 2015 is kicking off at the Neshoba Valley Ski Area on Saturday, August 22nd with the Blues N Brews Festival. Listen to some great bands and sample over 100 varieties of beer and wine. Bring the family, no charge for children 13 and under. Enjoy the crafts, amusement rides, the food, the music, and much more. And don't forget to come back Sunday for the Pig and Pepper Fest, an old-fashioned country fair with live music, amusement rides, and activities for both adults and children. It's all happening at the Neshoba Valley Ski Area on August 22nd and 23rd. Check out the websites at bluesandbrewsrotary.org and pigandpepper.org for more information, and order your tickets at 978-692-3033. Proceeds will support many local charities. Summerfest 2015 is brought to you by the Westford Rotary Charitable Foundation.
Welcome back to another episode of Rotary in Action. Thank you so much for joining us. We're happy that you're here. Just as a quick update, we want to remind everybody that the Westford Rotary Club meets every Thursday at 12:15 at the Westford Regency. So if you're a Rotarian from around the country or even around the world, come and join us. If you're interested in learning what Rotary does, how we help each other in the world around us, please come and join us. We always have great speakers, and we're always happy to have you. So thank you for joining us again. Today we have an exciting episode because we're going to be talking a lot with our brand new president for this year in the Westford Rotary, John Flanagan. We're also going to be hearing from Walter Miska, who is a Rotarian as well, and also the owner of the craft beer cellar in Westford. And because of that, we're going to be talking a lot about, you know it, the Blues N Brews Festival and the Pig and Pepper, which we call the Summerfest. But before we dive into that, let me give you an update about what we've been doing at the Rotary Club. So actually, upcoming speakers that we're excited about. We've got Andrea Mason coming up July 30th, who's going to be talking about Jericho Road and their projects. We have Friends Forever, the exchange group. If you're not familiar with Friends Forever, they bring groups, usually of teenagers and students, together from two different cultures that are typically not used to being connected with each other. They bring them together in a totally new environment away from where they usually live. A lot of times they're coming from either Palestine or Israel and coming together here in the United States to get a chance to exchange cultural experiences and to learn from one another in a totally separate setting from where they're usually from. So each year we host them, and they are in town again, so we're happy to have them coming up to visit us at the Westford Rotary meeting, and that'll also be July 30th, so we'll be excited to hear from them. A couple other highlights, Allie Mitchell, who's going to give us an update on her trip to Africa. So we're always excited to hear about people's excursions from around the world. Deb Banerjee of the Westford Historical Society is going to be speaking to our group, and that'll be September 3rd. Our district governor, who is Jim Fusco, he's going to be coming to talk to us as well, September 17th. And of course, we're also very excited. Upcoming is Frank Merrick of FIRST Robotics Competition Nation. He's going to be speaking to our Rotary Club on October 8th, and hopefully he'll be bringing some robots with him, maybe. So we'll see. But that's a quick update from the Westford Rotary Club. So again, I'm very excited to share the studio here with our friends John Flanagan and Walter Miska.
Thanks.
So thanks for coming.
Happy to be here.
Great. So first let's start with you, John. You are our new Rotary president, so thank you very much for stepping up to the plate.
Yes.
We're really excited. But I know you've been a longtime Westford resident. You even work here in town with Red Hat. You've been a longtime Red Hat employee. And you've been so integral in the community in many different ways with your Red Hat job, but also with your Rotary connection. So first of all, thank you so much for stepping up there. So tell me a little bit about, what brought you to Westford and what brought you to Rotary?
Yeah, well, what brought me to Westford were the schools. So my wife and I had, at the time, we had 2 kids, and our youngest was about 18 months at the time, and we were starting to look at school systems, and Westford was the place to be. So we came here. That was 2000. So I've been here 15 years.
Goes by fast.
It does go by very fast. And then
well, now you've got 3 kids, and
yep, my oldest is in college now.
wow.
But they're all products of the Westford Academy. So great school.
Westford schools have done well by you.
Fantastic, fantastic. And then
how about Rotary?
Yeah, so I worked for Red Hat, and we actually started here in Westford in 2002. There were about 10 of us that actually started what is now the building that you see, which we're up over 400 people. So the intersection between Red Hat and trying to find something to do in the community is what got me to Rotary. And actually, there was a member of Rotary who was the new member, like the person who go out and find new members.
Sure.
And he was actually also running the guidance department at Westford Academy. And he was trying to get different companies to come in and do a career day. So I'm like, we'll do that. So we went over there with Red Hat, and so I got to meet him, and then he called me back and like, oh, by the way, we're looking for new members at Rotary. Would you like to come join? I'm like, absolutely.
And how long ago was that?
That was like 2002, so that was 13 years ago.
Wow.
So this is
That's
my
amazing.
13th year in Rotary.
Yeah.
And, I was trying to figure out, would there be a good time for me to become president? With 3 kids, kept me very busy, especially I was coaching soccer with
Sure.
2 of them, which kept me very busy. And then when Kayla, my oldest, headed off to college, I saw a window of opportunity for me to be able to step in. And
as we all know, there's no perfect time to take on all this extra responsibility.
It's hard. So Justin McCarthy, who was our president last year, he was in the same boat. So the 2 of us got together and said, look, if you're president in 2014, I'll come in 2015. So we kind of, brokered this deal where we would kind of do it together. So
Perfect. Well,
it's worked out very well.
It really has worked out very well. And we also want to thank Justin McCarthy for his amazing work as president in the past year as well, bringing us to a very successful Blues N Brews and Summerfest last year. And now your turn. What are you excited about most in your year coming up?
So I want to focus on youth. That's one thing that's important to me. Again, having 3 kids that just went through the school system, I'd like to see what we can do to give back to the school system. And one thing we were really excited about this past year was to finally get an Interact Club, which was a high school level Rotary. And
so they're
I'd
not
like to
actual Rotarians; they're sort of Rotarians in training. From some of the Rotary.
Yeah,
schools?
and it's basically a service club at the high school, but they work in conjunction with Rotary International, and we can do joint things with them. So it's a really good way to get high schoolers, exposed to what Rotary does and the spirit of giving back to the community as well as the world at large. So.
I know in the past our Rotary Club has had some kind of connections with the DECA groups at the school, the business-minded groups at school, but this will be sort of another level of that, the Rotary Interact Club.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's really more like a community service group specifically.
Right.
And you can get some support from Rotary International. So I think it's something that'll give us a chance to give, again, more exposure internationally for a lot of the high schoolers that don't know what Rotary is about, what we do in terms of Polio Plus, which is eradicating polio throughout the world, of which we're now down to about 3 countries that still have any semblance of polio.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know it's a great idea to actually get some of the information about what Rotary does to the younger generation, because they could end up being Rotarians down the road. I know that Rotary has oftentimes given a lot of scholarships for people to travel abroad, students particularly, to experience what it's like to go to another culture, to potentially help them out, a service organization, a service project for them. And a lot of times those people who've benefited from Rotary grants to travel have ended up coming back and in their lives as they get older and actually becoming Rotarians themselves and giving back in a new way. So, and I know we have a Rotarian recently who has done that, Corrine, who is now a Rotarian, and she also benefited from a grant long ago when she was a student. And so it's fun to see that kind of full circle come back. So that's exciting to have an Interact Club. I know we've never really done that.
Yeah, so that's one thing. And the other thing I'm very interested in is trying to get a little bit more collaboration with some of the other organizations in town. So I'm really interested in doing something with the Kiwanis Club. So this is something that Don Sirianni and I had talked about. We actually germinated about a year ago at a Westford Education Foundation event, which was, hey, could we do something together?
Excellent.
So that's one thing that we're going to try to make happen this year, see if we can do a joint Kiwanis Rotary
Makes
project.
a lot of sense to me, because the Lions clubs are very active around here, the Kiwanis and the Rotary, we're all very active, and we all have the same concept in mind of just trying to find ways to help others. And yes, if we can become friends during that time period and also build business connections at the same time, great. But it's all about giving back to the communities. I know they have their own special pet projects as well.
I mean, the Apple Blossom Festival is a big project they've been doing for many
huge.
years, and they're a very small group, and they do a fantastic job.
They do a
with that.
phenomenal job. The carnival and everything, so unless it rains real hard. But we have that problem too with
We
the
have the
Blues
same
and Brews.
thing, yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, but that's great. I think we need to have a better connection with some of those organizations. So I'm looking forward to your leadership on that to help us build and bridge those connections better. So that's exciting. Anything else you want to share with us that you're excited about, or?
Well, the Blues and Brews is that a good segue?
Of course.
I mean, that's
Absolutely.
that's coming up in August 22nd. Well, the Blues and Brews on August 22nd,
Yep.
and then day 2, which is the Pig and Pepper, which is the more family event.
Right, and that's a great segue, so thanks for bringing that up. We also have with us Walter Miska. Thank you for joining us, Walter.
Thank you.
Just to give a quick intro for Walter, he's been a Rotarian for a number of years. Actually, we probably started around the same time.
We did. I was just reflecting as John was speaking, and I don't know if this is my 9th or 10th year doing Blues and Brews with Rotary, but it's pretty close, somewhere around there.
It's got to be, because I know we started around the same time. I think the first Blues and Brews event that I was at Kimball's.
Yeah.
So that was a while ago.
So I think I was a year after that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you have a unique connection to this event because obviously being a Rotarian for a while and helping out the Blues and Brews, you know it inside and out, as we all kind of get to do. But you also own the Westford Craft Beer Cellar,
Correct.
which is a unique place to go buy not just the Budweisers and things like that. It's really more about the microbreweries, which is phenomenal, and that's what our event caters to as well. So why don't you share a little bit about how you came into the beer cellar type of business and how it relates to the Blues and Brews.
Okay. Well, at risk of making us commercial, obviously we've been in business as a craft beer cellar here in Westford for almost 2 years. And as you mentioned, we carry primarily smaller breweries, but they're local, they're regional. They are national and international, over 1,000 different beers and ciders and meads and such in stock at any time. So we have a connection to a lot of the small breweries that are available locally and around the country. So that was a nice segue into playing that role in the Blues and Brews Festival.
So your job at the Blues and Brews Festival, we all have hats and jobs to do at the day.
Right.
It's a lot. It takes a lot of people to pull that day off. But your job is the vendors for the beer.
Beer, right. So that's been obviously my focus in trying to bring in new breweries and interact with them first. So I have to say I am really excited. I think this is, well, clearly over the last 10 years, our best lineup of breweries
Absolutely, yeah.
at any Blues and Brews Festival. Every single spot in the beer tents is filled with different breweries. There are so many breweries opening. In fact, I was looking earlier today, would you believe in this country, in the last year, 699 new breweries have opened in the last 12 months.
Well, are they all classified as microbreweries then, if they're just opening up?
Presumably, craft breweries, microbreweries, nano breweries, what have you.
Wow.
But
That's a lot of beer to taste.
that's almost 2 breweries opening every day in this country. So I can guarantee you that there's going to be some beer at this festival that you have not seen before.
That's phenomenal.
We will have, and I don't have a final number yet, but obviously well over 100 different beers for you to come and select what you want to choose from.
Right.
And ciders, we got a couple of cideries, a couple of meaderies. So even if you're not necessarily a full-on beer, and a winery too. So
Right.
even if you're not full-on into just beer, there's plenty of options to try some new things.
Somewhat of a side topic. You know what I had recently that I'd never had before? An alcoholic root beer.
Oh yeah,
Tasted just like root beer, but with a kick.
there are a couple of those on the market, and they are lighting it up right now. Yeah, we sell a tremendous amount of.
You have
hard
that at the
root
store?
beer. We do.
Okay, I'm gonna have to come and check it out.
Yeah, and a couple of different ones, and we may get a surprise visit from one of those at the Blues and Brews. We're still kind of
Excellent.
pushing a couple buttons on that.
So let me take a quick step back and kind of explain a little bit more about the Blues and Brews for those of you who aren't familiar with it. We've been running this festival. The Westford Rotary Club has been running this festival for, is this our 10th year?
Oh, it's more than that. This is at least the 11th year. I
11th
think.
year? Okay, so we've been doing it for a little while, and it's been getting bigger and bigger every single time. It used to just be one day, the Blues and Brews. And that, of course, like we mentioned, takes a lot of manpower, a lot of energy, but it really comes off without a hitch, it seems like, every single year, and it's just a phenomenal event. And of course, all the proceeds go to charity. So we have a lot of charities that we support over the years. Some of our favorites are Habitat for Humanity, the Multiple Sclerosis Society, or the Blister Buddies.
Merrimack Valley Food Bank.
Merrimack Valley Food Bank.
They help us a lot
thank you.
with the truck, with the refrigerator truck.
Absolutely,
which is
we
great
need
for
their
the beer.
refrigerated truck to keep the beer cold. So we owe them a debt of gratitude, but we also help to support them too. Any local charities that we can help to support. And of course, some of the money goes into the Westford Rotary Foundation. That foundation each year supplies grants and scholarships for local students, whether they be at Westford Academy or they be at Neshoba Valley Technical High School as well, to buy tools for their trade. So we, as much as possible, try to funnel all the good energy that comes out of this event into projects around the Westford area and, of course, international projects as well, because anything Rotary related can be as international as it can be local. And so we're very proud of the success that we've had with the Blues and Brews and Pig and Pepper and the Summerfest in general, because it is our biggest fundraiser of the year. All of our energies around this time of year goes into the Blues and Brews and the Summerfest. So, John or Walter, why don't you guys kind of explain a little bit more about what's the lineup for this year in terms of some of the beers and maybe some of the vendors. I can tell you some of the sponsorships, because I've been involved in trying to get sponsors in the past. Happy to share, of course, that we've had Circle Health. They've been a great sponsor of ours. Lowell General built a new building right next to me in 110. So we're very happy to have them as a major sponsor. Of course, Red Hat as well. Thank you again for your sponsorship over the years and including this year. Lowell 5, Middlesex Savings Bank, North Middlesex Craft Beer Cellar. Thank you, Walter. McKinnon Printing. I can't say enough. John McKinnon of McKinnon Printing in Acton. He's done all of our printing for the past 11 years.
And he also handpicks the bands that
He's
that
our
play.
band guru as well.
Really
we'll talk about
job.
that in a second. So thank you, John. Eastern Bank, Lair Realty Partners, and Stacy Alcorn there. Thank you so much. Salem 5, Neshoba Valley Ski Area. They're the place we hold it every single year. And
do a fantastic job.
And Al Fletcher's been great. Everybody there at Neshoba Valley has been awesome to work with. Net Scout.
Yeah, right next door to me.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Neighbors of You, Westford Regency. All these people have really helped to lift a very heavy load, so we thank them from the bottom of our heart. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody. But last but not least, of course, WZLX. Yeah. Carter Allen has been our MC for the event, and he's a great guy, knows a ton about blues music, switching gears to the blues side now. He's been phenomenal. And he's just a great guy to hang out with.
And it used to be at WBCN back in the day.
Yes.
So those of you that listen to rock and roll
way
back
when,
he was the station manager.
Yeah, and he does a phenomenal job of emceeing the event. So we're happy to have him again this year. So those are the sponsorships. And do you guys know the bands? Let me mention some of the bands. Selwyn Birchwood is going to be there at the event. Joanne Shaw Taylor. Racky Thomas Band, I've seen him a number of times. Vanessa Collier, Ben Knight, and a number of other bands that aren't even, available to list yet. So we're very excited about the blues music, which is phenomenal. Remember,
and these are all, national bands. So this is top notch. I mean, they're amazing to watch, and especially when you're sipping beer, listening to
absolutely.
these
Remember,
bands play. It's amazing.
Just the Blues and Brews itself, that one day is really like two events in one. Right. You're getting the blues music all day long, and you're also being able to taste all these amazing beers. So let's switch gear and go to the beers, because I know Walter has his thumb on everything beer related. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the vendors that might be coming and some of their beer?
So what I thought, I just brought a couple of different beers here with me, little props, but some of the more local beers. Navigation is a brand new brewery. Well, actually, they're just pushing 2 years old now, but in Lowell. So hyper local. You may not see them around too much yet, but they're certainly growing. And what's exciting is that they're now big enough to join us at Blues and Brews, because in the past they didn't have even enough beer yet to come and serve to the large crowds.
Can we say that that's the only brewery in Lowell? Is it?
No.
Okay.
It's not. In fact, and I believe that Merrimack Ales is a brand new brewery that is so new, I haven't even seen beer from them yet. They are just starting to brew with a lot of Westford connection. They are also brewing in Lowell and should be at our event as well. So
excellent.
Super, super new. Lowell breweries. Plus, there's a Lowell Beer Works.
So
that's their
Lowell
summer offering,
okay.
which is a nice, light, easy drinking summer beer. It's
awesome.
awesome.
It's a big bottle too.
Yeah, a lot of the smaller breweries do package initially in 22-ounce bottles. It is certainly a more effective, cost-effective method of getting the beer out. So
Just a shout out to craft beer. When you go to his place and you want to pick up a nice cold beer before you go to a friend's house, you pick up one of these bombers, I call them, 22 ounce. So.
I like that. Now, is there actually a lighthouse in Lowell? I don't remember seeing one.
I don't believe so, but I think it's a navigation play in there. Another local but very quickly growing beer or brewery in the area is Jack's Abbey. So you may have started to see Jack's Abbey find their way out. This is a beer that just came into our store this week, and it's kind of cool to tell you about it. But Jack's Abbey, what makes them so unique is they brew lagers. Most craft breweries, when they get started, brew ales, and I could go into the whole reason why, but it's got a lot to do with how long it takes to ferment the beer. But this is a new beer. It's a smoked beer that uses smoked malts, and I tell you, the amount of smoke in here, you would swear somebody steeped this in bacon. And there's no bacon in it. It's just an awesome, different kind of a beer. Now, will they have this? I don't know exactly what beers are going to be at our festival. But
is that
for beer
Jack's
geeks?
Jack's Abbey will definitely be there.
And for beer geeks, they're all lagers, including their IPA, which is an IPL.
It's an IPL, right?
Cool,
that's Jack's Abbey's.
So with the influence of bacon, does it qualify as a breakfast? If you drink that?
I suppose you could have that at breakfast. Yeah, there are a lot of good breakfast beers.
Voodoo Donut, maybe that's not quite as good.
Yeah, maybe not. But
it's a beer out of Portland.
Well, this is one I haven't had yet. I've had Jack's Abbey, but not particularly this one. So I'm looking forward to the Fire in the Ham.
Yeah.
Wow, that's fantastic. Now we should mention, by the way, that some of the beers that we're talking about specifically here may or may not be at the Blues N Brews itself. But the vendors will be.
Yeah, we're still working on what the exact beer list is going to be, but I do know that these are vendors that are going to be there. I don't know how far you want me to go. Another one of our favorite breweries locally that's growing very quickly is Brewmaster Jack. He's been doing a lot of fantastic IPAs, true IPAs, as well as other styles. He's got a great Pilsner and a lager that he does, as well as porters and all kinds of things. But we're excited that they're going to be able to join us this year as well.
Excellent.
We do have some that are a little bit more regional as well. I mean, these are just some of the really local ones that I thought were exciting. But Trogs is a much bigger brewery. They're out of Pennsylvania. We're excited to have Trogs join us. This is the first time that they're going to be there. This is a cool Belgian triple style. So Belgian ales are a whole nother category. Really, it's characterized by the yeasts in the beer that give them different flavors.
Is that more of a full-bodied flavor?
It's a bigger beer for sure. It's got a lot of flavor. These triples tend to be 8 or 9% alcohol, and tend to have kind of some banana flavors to them, aromas to them. It's kind of a neat Belgian style. Allagash is another Belgian style brewery that's out of Portland, Maine. That
we've had them for a while now.
huge,
They've been a big part of our.
They'll be there again.
Great.
And then I brought this because I wasn't sure if a question was going to come up. What's my favorite beer? Which of course is an impossible question to answer, but we get new beers in our store every day, and literally every day. And I spend my time every day trying new beers. I never, or very rarely, go back and drink beers that I've already tried because I need to try them all. But this is a staple in my refrigerator over the summer.
Two Roads.
Two Roads is out of Connecticut, and this is Little Heaven. This is their Session IPA. Session meaning lower alcohol. It's in a can. It's lower alcohol. It's perfect for summertime, sitting by the pool. It is one of the few beers that I keep in stock at my house all the time, and Two Roads will be there.
Oh, that's fantastic.
For the second time.
I have to tell you, we didn't even talk about this before, but you know what? I just had that beer for the very first time yesterday at the tavern over at the Groton Country Club.
Oh, yeah.
They had it on tap.
Nice.
And it's the first time I ever had it. I loved it.
And, I was in Lucia's in Air, and I went in and, small tap list, and I went in a couple weeks ago, and they had not Little Heaven, but a different Two Roads beer called Old Factory Pils, a dry hop Pilsner, on tap. I was like, great, this is awesome. Good beer on tap at my restaurant,
Yeah, I was very surprised. Very good beer.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, we've got a lot to choose from. And
that's just a small drop in the bucket. Tons more.
And how many vendors are actually coming? I know you don't have the actual number, but so far.
So as far as breweries themselves go, we have 3 tents, and each tent holds 12 different breweries. So there are 36 breweries, each of which will probably be bringing 3 or 4 different beers. So you'll have well over 100 beers to try and choose from.
Well, I know every time I go, I'm usually volunteering, so I'm not really drinking too much anyway. But I find it, even if I was there as a full patron, I couldn't try every single beer there anyway in a day. I wouldn't make it out of there.
So it's worth mentioning, I forgot why I brought this, but we have cider as well.
Right.
So, and we've had a couple of cideries come. Mackenzie's comes every year. They're always a crowd favorite. Down East is joining us as well this year, so multiple ciders to choose from. It'll be
So there should be something for everybody.
Something for everybody, I guess is the point.
And down east too, if you just a little point of fact, they go to the farmers market now too.
Oh,
So
the
I was
Westford
there-
Farmers Market?
Yep, I was
Oh,
there
excellent.
yesterday and tasted
So they
some of
really
their
are
stuff,
local.
So, yeah, they're very local.
Well, that's been awesome. I mean, I'm so excited about doing this again. And every time I go, I'm just amazed at how much fun it is, even though I'm volunteering and helping out. It's still a lot of fun.
It's always a really great day. It's a
It's
lot
a-
of work to
it's a
get it.
phenomenal day.
It's always that level of stress going into it.
Right.
But then during the day, it's just you look around and watch everyone just enjoying themselves and listening to the music. And
Well, before I
great
forget,
thing.
I do want to mention a couple of other things. We talked about the blues music. We talked about the beer vendors. We also have craft vendors, too. Tons of stuff for the family. Kids are welcome to come to the Blues and Brews. They're not going to be drinking beer, of course, but there's a lot of things for them to do. Great vendors all around. Great food vendors, too. We have a lot of barbecue. Jake's Barbecue, I think, is one of them that comes each year. Phenomenal food. Lots of different things to try. So we encourage everybody to come out. And then, of course, the Pig and Pepper
Right.
is the second day. And that is something that we started several years ago. We figured we rent all this stuff each weekend. We only use it for one day. Why not start utilizing it for, the second day, Sunday? So it really made a lot of sense to do that. And that's why we brought back the Pig and Pepper. And I know it's been a lot of fun. That is definitely for the family. There's bands being played throughout the day, not just blues music, but lots of different bands, family-oriented stuff.
We got the Frisbee dogs this year. Coming.
Frisbee dogs coming this year?
They toss the
Excellent.
Frisbees and it's like
Is that a
little show they put on.
competition?
I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be fun to watch, I think.
Well, that's awesome. Well, somebody mentioned a while ago that the Pig and Pepper had an elephant ride, but I don't think we're having an elephant ride. So that's not happening. But there is Bouncy Town, and not just a bouncy house, but a whole bunch of different bouncy areas. So we're really looking forward to, having the kids just have a wonderful, wonderful day. So just to wrap things up real quick, please come by and check us out. The website is shown on the screen there, bluesnbrewsrotary.org. That's going to tell you more about the event, the Summerfest coming up. It's also going to direct you to the Neshoba Valley Ski Area's website to be able to purchase tickets. If you're buying them early, the early bird special for the Blues and Brews is $27. And then there's a $30 advance fee, or cost if you're buying it in advance. I guess that's something a little bit after the early bird special. And then the at the gate price is $35. And what that actually gets you is admittance to the Blues and Brews itself that day, Saturday. So you get the beer, you get the blues, but it also gives you 5 beer tasting or drink tickets attached to your wristband, which is great. Each tasting is 4 ounces. So that's a decent amount that you get right off the bat. And of course, at the Rotary booth, you can buy more tastings, and they're only $1 per tasting. So again, all of it goes to charity and proceeds, to support the local community and the international community eventually as well. So again, we're just so proud of the Summerfest in general. We put a lot of heart and soul and effort into it. We're very happy to have Walter and the leadership of John as president this year. Many hands make light work, as we say. It's not just the 3 of us here, of course. It's a lot of other people that you don't see outside of the studio that help make this event such a great event. So I just wanted to thank you guys so much for being a part of it and for helping out and for coming out today to be a part of the taping here. And any last thoughts?
Come out and join us.
Yeah,
It's going to be a fun day.
looking forward to it.
Sounds good. And, check out the Craft Beer Cellar. It's a phenomenal place if you're looking to try some new beers. And talk to Walter. He and his crew are right there, and they're really, really helpful. So check them out. And come by to a Rotary meeting, too. If you ever want to come by and just check us out, see what we're all about, we'd love to have you. And again, that is the every Thursday, 12:15, and that's at the Westford Rotary. So with that,
Regency, yep.
I'm sorry, Westford Regency, thank you. So with that, we want to thank you, wrap up this edition of Rotary in Action, and until next time, have a great day.